fresh out the box.
Fresh California plums.
Welcome to another episode of Fresh Film Fridays, the podcast where two dudes pick the newest films streaming or in theaters and discuss them. Today we're talking about 2022's Goodnight Mommy, which is currently streaming on Amazon Prime Video, whatever. I'm your co-host, Alec.
Oh, I'm Eric. Just kidding. It's Justin.
Oh.
I like how you said that. You're like, I don't know, Amazon something.
I don't know if it's Prime Video or Amazon... What is it? Is it Amazon Prime?
I think it's Amazon Prime Video.
Okay.
I don't know.
I just say it's on Amazon. It's on Amazon. Whatever. Yeah, this was pretty
You didn't like it?
I did not like this movie, dude.
Oh.
You did?
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, I thought it was like all of the worst things a horror movie could be. It's just like boring and confusing.
Well, it was meant to be. You don't know what really happened till the end, so it was like
Okay, all right,
cliffhanger.
Perfect. So, well, let's hit that right off the top then. When did you figure it out?
Oh, I didn't.
What?
I didn't figure it out until literally when the mother forced him to look at the bloodstain, and I was like, oh shit.
Oh my god, dude. Okay.
What? You figured it out sooner?
The second the police came to that house and found them, and the police officer was like, hey, look who I found. I was noticing from that point onward, I was like, oh, they've never once said, like, what are you two doing here? Or, like,
Yeah.
It was all singular from that point forward. It was singular the whole movie, but I just never paid attention. But you'd think the cop would be like, hey, buddies, how's it going? Like, look who I found down here. There's a couple, you two were keeping each other safe. Like, you'd think something like that, but he was definitely talking about one dude. So
Yeah, I don't pick up on super obvious things like that. I noticed things like in one scene she had a freckle, but in the next one,
yeah, you'd be like, she asked for iced tea, and I believe he brought her lemonade. I was like, how do you catch that? But not like.
So let me start off by saying I'm gonna give a shout out to Josh, who's the host of Cinema Stubs, and he's a critic at Fandom Wire. So, as you know, there was a red carpet event for this movie a few weeks ago in New York City, and he asked if I could go representing Fandom Wire, and you could potentially interview the cast and Naomi Watts, and then you get to see it before the movie's live. So I did get a link to see it a few days prior, which was really cool. Didn't end up going. There were some conflicting issues with population there, but still super cool to see a movie before it came out. I liked it. I had no idea this was based off of an Austrian film. It was a remake.
I had no idea either. So when I typed it in, it said 2014. I was like, what? And then, yeah, you see.
Apparently people like that one more, and they said it was significantly more twisted.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I think the two little kids did a good job.
Yeah.
Anytime there's little kids, it's kind of creepy.
Sure.
And I looked them up. They're actual twins. They're not just two boys that kind of look alike.
Right, yeah.
And I think Naomi Watts did a good job of just being I tried to put myself in their shoes, right? Imagine you're 8 and you're in this massive house in the middle of nowhere, and your mom's got this sock thing on her face, and she's just being weird. She's got a champion sock on her head.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But it's all in that boy's head. Her behavior is all in his head. So, she's not doing anything wrong. This kid's fucking crazy, dude.
I mean, he went through a traumatic experience. I don't know.
He shot his brother. He did it.
Yeah, but he's just a little kid. They don't know. That happens all the time.
Does that happen all the time?
Kids shoot themselves and other kids whenever. That's why you don't leave a gun on top of the fridge, because they get it.
I know. I feel like that was a while. I feel like that doesn't happen that often.
Wait,
anymore.
so you're saying he imagined everything she did?
I mean, right? Because
so when she was dancing seductively in the mirror, touching herself, she wasn't actually doing that?
Maybe she was doing that. That's not wrong of her to do that. I'm saying she was kind of crazy and really mean and short and cold to them. And I think that was all in his head. Why would she be like that to him?
She did rip up the picture.
Right, because she was sick of this whole, it's a constant reminder. This, Elias kid, he won't stop talking about his dead brother. And it's Jesus fucking Christ. And she rips it up because she's sick of hearing about it.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know that, though, until the end. Unless she figured it out before. But, even things didn't she break the door down with a crowbar and shit?
I'm going to try and play devil's advocate for Naomi Watts here and say that, her son shot her other son, and then that led to a divorce, and now the son who's still alive is pretty much mentally unstable and is pretending he's seeing things and his dead brother and is making things up in his head about his mom.
Yeah.
You know?
I started to get a little, like, suspicious when the brothers were saying they contacted their dad, and the mom was like, no more contacting your dad. And at first I got kind of upset. I was like, why is this dad not, like, taking it seriously? What if, you know, the mom was going crazy? And then it all makes sense because I'm sure they spoke, and the dad's like, oh, he's probably just going through some shit.
Yeah, that's the one thing I didn't like, though, is, like, they keep calling the dad and he's not answering. And, like, you and I are both childs of divorce. Like, if you're at the other parent's house and you call them, they're gonna answer. They're still gonna be like, is everything okay? Like, they're not just gonna be like, hey, he's with his mom, not my problem anymore. Like,
yeah, but also, I mean, it kind of seemed like neither parent really wanted, like, maybe they didn't want them.
really? That first video was so happy in the beginning. The first shot of the movie?
Yeah, but then the whole time he's there, she's like kind of cold to him, and
Right.
I know it's an accident, but I also feel like she's kind of obviously upset that maybe, like, for all we know, the parents separated because of this issue.
Yeah.
And so this kid split the whole family up and killed them.
That's what I think is definitely happening. So I think Elias or whatever, which also, I just want to say, his name really pisses me off. Like, it's like when I saw Elias and they said, like, Elias, I was like, oh, this is going to be a problem.
I was like, oh, that's one of these people. All right.
Yeah, I'm like, okay.
Right.
But anyway, so Elias, so he kills his brother. It causes the parents to get a divorce. And the mom's just like, yeah, she's probably not thrilled about the way things have turned out. But still isn't, like, going to just be such a bitch to her son for no reason. I think this is all in his head. I think the kid has traumatic issues from shooting his brother, and maybe, yeah, the mom's an actress. Maybe she is self-absorbed. Maybe she doesn't really care that much about her kid. Maybe. But I just get the feeling it was all made up. I don't know.
Yeah, so when they get there and the mom's like, don't ever go in the barn, like, that place is off limits. I was just like, what's in there, dude? Like, fucking Rancor? What's in that barn?
Well, also, lock the fucking barn.
Yeah,
You don't trust your kid.
That's true. But I also thought, well, first of all, I feel like anyone would get that spot that has your kid's blood splatter. They'd remove it. Like, remove it, paint over it, burn the barn down.
Yeah.
She clearly is wealthy. Like, unless she, like, goes there and just looks at her kid's blood on the wall. But at first I thought there was something, like, evil or creepy down there, like a cave or some shit, because that scene when she was, like, ripping her skin off, I was like, I knew it, dude. Fucking, like, demon.
That's what I'm talking about. It's so confusing because that's not real. So that's just that kid dreaming that his mom is this, like, evil monster.
Well, he's like 8.
Yeah, but the payoff for the audience is, like, what's the point of this whole movie? Because the kid, yeah, so whatever. Like, and then there's a whole scene where, like, the mom comes at him as this, like, you know, demon from the Mummy, you know, like, crawling towards him, and, you know, all black and its eyes are missing, and I'm like, what is all, like, this is just for the audience to be like, oh, that's scary, but that doesn't mean anything because it's not real.
It's a thriller, dude.
I wasn't thrilled.
I did like how the other brother, Lucas, again, it made sense at the end, but, like, he was the one who was always instilling these thoughts into Elias's head, like, her eyes aren't the same color. When there's a logical explanation, like, maybe the actress's agent says, like, blue eyes pop more in photo shoots or some shit.
Sure.
And, like, what's under the mask thing that she's wearing, and they ripped up the letter. And, dude, one of my favorite scenes in the movie was when he was like, yeah, I checked the bag, like, there's no contacts in there. And then when he went back and checked and he was like, let me explain. I was like, oh, shit, dude. Oh, shit.
But what's the plan here? Like, what is Lucas going to do? He's like, we're waiting for our Uber. And the kid's like, oh, I left my toothbrush. And he's like, the car's on the way. Like, what's going to happen if they get in that car?
Yeah, I expected some form of resistance, like Lucas being like, we don't need the toothbrush.
Get one at Walgreens when we get where we're going. Like, something like that.
Yeah. And, like, he brought all his bags back in. And, I mean, I knew Lucas was going to follow him because Elias was trying to, like, untie her and shit. And that's the first point in the movie where I thought maybe the mom isn't the villain because she looked, like, genuinely scared that she was tied up.
Well, also, let's just go through that scene where she's tied up, dude. Like, it looks like her face is, like, all bruised up. So I was like, what the hell is that all about? But then the other thing is, you're going to tell me that this kid was able to get duct tape out and, like ripping it, you know, like pulling duct tape is very loud, and duct tape your mom's arms and legs to the bed. I don't believe it.
Yeah, and then he like put his dirty sock in her mouth.
I don't believe it at all. I don't believe it at all.
Well, it made a little more sense when you thought there were two of them, and maybe they overpowered this, small woman who was on like sleeping drugs from her surgery and drunk and stuff.
No. Do you think 2 8-year-old boys could take down a full-grown adult woman? Kids this size.
Who a woman who's drunk and taking medication? Maybe. It's a movie.
It's bullshit.
You're telling me these things that you have issues with aren't as dumb as typical horror movie tropes where they're like, what's that? Like Barbarian, for example, where she's like, there's a murderous monster underground. I'm going to go back there for the 3rd time.
Yeah, there's bad choices, and then there's choices that don't make sense. I'm not going to go down to a creepy dungeon where there's, like, sex stuff set up and, like, in Barbarian. I'm not going to do that. But this movie I'm watching, and I'm like, this is just impossible.
What's impossible?
Two kids are going to get that much duct tape out without the mom waking up and duct tape. Show us then. If you're expecting the audience to believe that that's possible, show us how that's possible.
Okay, maybe they should have done something like she poured herself a glass of wine and they, like, crushed up some of her sleeping pills. They probably should have done that.
Yes.
That, and then the cops, the cops heard the vase thing break, and then they left, and I was like, all right.
Dude, the cops were so dumb in this fucking movie. Like, you got that one guy who's just, like, not doing his job at all because he has a crush on Naomi Watts. Like, dude, that cop was an idiot.
Well, what did you think of when they found the kid at the abandoned house, and he was like, that's not my mom, she's, like, really mean and, like, hitting us and shit, and they just brought her right back? What do you think would really happen?
Probably call Child Protective Services, I'd say.
You don't think they would drive them right back home?
I don't think so. I don't know, man. Because, like, especially nowadays, like, if a kid goes to school and they say, like, my mom is beating me, and they don't do something about it, like, that could be really bad. So I think they would probably get Child Protective Services or take him to the station and be like, all right, your mom's going to come pick you up. We're going to talk to her, sort of thing, not just, like, drive her home. And then it becomes a little bit more believable once you find out that the cop has a crush on the actress and all that stuff. You're like, okay, so he's willing to, like, not do his job properly.
Yeah, when he got there and she had her mask thing off and he realized she was famous.
Yeah, so whatever. I don't know, man. So what I think the thing is, like, I don't have a problem when characters do things that seem illogical. Like, I would never go into a house when there's a murder on the run or whatever. I would never do this. That's different than, this is so unbelievable that this would never happen. That's where I get mad. And they don't give any explanation,
Well, what parts do you think are so unbelievable?
I think the tying her up thing, I think that's pretty unbelievable. I think that the dad never answering the phone, I think is pretty unbelievable. Like even if, like, the parents are divorced, okay? So, like, you don't know what the son genuinely wants to say to the father. The mom and dad were on the phone, and you hear the mom say, like, when am I going to be able to stop pretending? Like, I want to get rid of this, like, all that stuff. And he interprets this as they're going to kill him for some reason, the kid. But, like, we don't know why the parents actually got divorced. They could be like, you're an alcoholic, you're addicted to pills or whatever. So maybe, like, the mom is crazy, and the dad should have answered the phone. We don't get any explanation why he's not answering the phone, We don't get a conversation where he's like, Dad, she's crazy. He's like, hey, buddy, like, that's your mom. Like, we don't get anything like that.
Yeah, but I think, like, to me, that kind of added to the scary aspect, because if you overheard the mom and the dad talking and she was like, he's doing one of his rants again, like, it would make her seem less scary. And if he actually answered the phone, you'd kind of be like, oh, like, he's reachable. But
why isn't he reachable, though? That's the thing.
Maybe he doesn't want to talk to him. Like, maybe he dropped him off and he's like, I need some space away from my killer son.
Right,
or,
right.
I don't know.
We're filling in those blanks, though. It's not like we see a picture of him, or like a clip of him in, like, Vegas, and it's like his phone's ringing, and he's like, ah, shit. And he's like, and he's like with a bunch of strippers. Like, we don't see that scene. So it's just like, what the fuck? What's his dad doing? Also, what's up with her face? What happened to her face?
Well, I'm assuming she got cosmetic surgery.
Say that.
Well, it's implied. She said, she was like, sometimes people want to, like when you're cars and they need tune-ups and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Why she was wearing this, like, mask thing, like, maybe she didn't want the kid to see bruises.
Maybe I missed where, because it says the mother. It says she explains that she had cosmetic surgery. I don't remember her saying that, but all right. Yeah, so, like, I don't know, dude. It just, there's nothing here that, like, really stood out. And I think that what this says here, it says, Naomi Watts' performance was praised, but the overall film was criticized for its writing and deemed it inferior and unnecessary. So, I mean,
was it perfect? No, but I still thought the aspect of, like, even if you take away, because as a horror movie it doesn't do the best job, but if you just take away like key elements, like you have a family who, there's a pretty realistic situation. They lost a son who, he happened to, it was killed by an accident, and then it kind of, you assume, tore this family apart, and you're just like seeing this 8-year-old deal with these kind of like PTSDs, having flashbacks, imagining his brother, and you don't know if the mom's bad or he's bad, and it was still like an interesting story.
Yeah. I'm gonna say this. It's not like a bad movie. It's not like unwatchable shit or anything like that, but it's just kind of boring, and it just kind of doesn't really make sense. A lot of the things aren't justified. I was expecting more. I don't really know what I was expecting because I didn't know anything about this movie, but I wanted to like it. I love Naomi Watts. Like, I love her, dude. And I think she's an amazing actress, and clearly, she was in The Ring. Like, she's good in that. She's good in horror, but
King Kong?
Yeah, dude, Mulholland Drive. I fucking love her, dude. Like, she's gorgeous and she's a great actress, and I love her, but I wasn't a fan. Do you want honesty, Justin?
Yeah, and there's also only 6 people in this, and technically the dad was only in like one scene, so
right.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I liked it. Like, again, I was imagining, because I'm watching it on the couch, and I'm like, it's not super scary, but I'm picturing myself as this young kid in this massive house, and he's pretty much alone the whole time because she's just drunk and stuff, and he's making his own food, which, like, I didn't know how to make food at like 8, and you think he's just alone in this house with his brother, but he's really just imagining all this crazy stuff. And
yeah, let me ask you this then: if you had a kid that killed their brother or sister, would you let them use a BB gun?
Probably shouldn't be any guns in the house.
I'd say that, maybe, like, let's not have this kid using, like, even a Nerf gun. That seems a little inappropriate. But and he's shooting her vegetables. I'm like, yeah, man, where are you? Where are the parents?
Yeah, when he was, like, aiming at the vegetables, yeah. Also, I probably wouldn't have the lock on the door for the kid, like.
Yeah, like, there's rules now. Like, you shot someone. Like, there are rules. Well, speaking of big house, Justin, do you know where this took place?
Was it somewhere in New England?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna guess. Vermont?
No.
New Hampshire?
No.
Was it Connecticut?
Yes.
Was it really?
Yeah. So you can tell the first time that I knew it was in, like, at least New England is she's looking at a storm or whatever, and you see it, like, going over Long Island or whatever. But then the cops, you can see it right there. It says Connecticut State Troopers.
Oh, I did not notice that.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things to do when I watch a movie is just to pay attention to, like, license plates or whatever, see where it takes place versus where it's filmed, because actually where it was filmed was New Jersey, but it just takes place in Connecticut.
Oh, Eric.
I know, but I have no idea why it takes place in Connecticut. I mean, they don't don't say anything about it that makes you think, like, oh, okay, that should take place there. But yeah, I don't know. I thought that was, like, the only thing that really I found interesting. So I'm like, hey, I'm from that place.
What do you think about her freaking out and, like, putting the phone in the garbage disposal? I mean, that was excessive.
Yeah, I think she's just, like, she's a little crazy, a little bit.
Well, is she crazy, or is she struggling with losing her son and then having to then take care of her one? Like, you got to think, she loves both her kids, and one of her kids who she loves killed the other one, so she's probably going through some stuff.
Yeah, we don't know how long it's been, since the kid got killed either, and yeah, I don't know, man. Because I'm thinking, like, it would be nice if there's, like, flashback scenes, but that would ruin the whole twist or whatever. But I kind of want to see the original one.
What do you? How do you explain? So when Lucas catches Elias looking through the bag, and he's like, "I can explain," and then they run up the stairs, and he, like, grabs his leg, and Elias falls and, like, hits his face on the stairs. What's going on?
I don't know.
Is this some like Fight Club thing?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. It's like a Fight Club. It's like, it's just all in his head. It's literally like he's putting a gun in his own mouth and stuff. You're like, oh my god, this is really like Fight Club. Yeah, I don't know. That's the same thing. He's imagining somebody pulling his leg down. These movies are tough, man. We did another one that was, like, sort of like this with, like, Malignant. Remember that? where it's just kind of like somebody else is doing the stuff that they, and there's a twist at the end.
Malignant was tough for me because it's a normal human who just has whatever that twin thing is called in like the back of its head.
Yeah.
And yet somehow she can literally like dislocate all her bones, turn around, and has superhuman speed that can dodge cop bullets.
Yeah.
And then after breaking all her bones, re-snaps everything and she's completely fine. I was like, this is kind of horseshit.
And like the back of her skull is open at all times. Hey, I agree. But I will say, that one, at least for some reason, I was more entertained by that one. And I was a little bit more like, all right, what is going to happen? This one, I just felt like it was just like slow and it was not long. All right, sorry, we've been having a lot of technical difficulties on this episode. I don't remember where we left off.
You were bitching.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, listen, hey, it is not horrible. It's just kind of, it just feels longer than it is, and that's never good for a horror movie, I feel like. A lot of unjustified moments, and wasn't scary at all.
Wow. You're like, and all of them should never act again.
No, I love Naomi Watts, and I'd like to see her, immediately. She can come over to my house anytime, But anyways, I don't know. Yeah, I wasn't blown away by the movie. I thought the acting was fine. Thought it was shot well. Just thought the plot was boring. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I got a 5.6.
Yeah.
What would you give it?
Yeah, I'm giving it 5.
Okay. I'm gonna go 6.5. 6.5.
Jesus Christ. All right. I mean, that's still pretty bad.
The original got a 6.7.
I'd like to see the original just to compare
I
them.
don't think it's in English though.
It's fine. So watch it with subtitles.
Because the original title is Each Say, Each Say.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, hey, there we go. Perfect way to end this. What does the title mean?
Goodnight Mommy?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Well, it could mean because he killed her.
He didn't kill her.
100%. What are you talking about?
Oh, you're right at the end.
Dude,
yeah,
what
right.
the f-
I'm sorry, I forgot. He lit her on fire. He pushed her.
He pushed her,
pushed
dude.
her
She
down.
and then, dude, even after he killed her, she, like, her ghost came back with Lucas, and they were like, we're a family again. I was like, he's killing all you fucking guys.
Yeah, this kid, it's when they're like, oh, he like kills neighborhood dogs, like you gotta watch him, sort of thing. It's like this kid needs to be like put away, dude.
Yeah,
he's killing his brother, his mother.
I'm picturing the dad like coming to pick him up, like, dude, this kid's gonna get me killed.
He's like, hey, all right, no more phone, okay? Like seriously, no more phone. Hey everybody, sorry, we're going to have to end this episode early. I don't know what's going on with our internet or the software, but it just keeps crashing on us. So we are very sorry we can't continue this conversation on Goodnight Mommy, but pretty much got through, I think, most of what we wanted to say about it anyways. If you haven't had a chance yet, you can go back and listen to our episode that came out on Monday, Hostel, with Joe Testa and I discussing that. And this upcoming Monday, October 3rd, entering spooky season, we're going to have Hocus Pocus 2, and we'll have Hope Regan back on the podcast to discuss the sequel to her favorite Halloween movie. And we also released our episode on the first Hocus Pocus with Hope October of 2020, so you can go back and find that on Spotify, iTunes, the website, all that stuff. But thank you everybody for listening in, and we'll see you all next week with something fresh.